on the copy of the repo that's on your machine.
Not
Okay?
your friends.
This, not your friends, not the ones that are on GitHub.com or whatever other repo you're using. Okay? Just the ones that are on your machine. Git space branch and nothing else.
But that is just for not Windows people, right?
No, this is Git. So this is on any machine that you're on, Windows, Linux, or Mac. Okay? So that's how we see what branch we're working on if we can't see it on the terminal. The next thing that you want to know is how you can create your own branch. Okay, but first let's talk about why it would be a good idea to have your own branch in the first place. If you're all working on the master branch, it's very easy to run into conflicts. A conflict happens when two people make a change to a file and Git doesn't know how to resolve the differences, right? So it's easier. This is easier to manage if each of you works on your own branch, because then, if you were to, for example, mess up badly, then your changes are isolated to just that branch. You're not wrecking the master branch, just whatever branch you were working with. Okay. So for that, we're gonna check out a branch. Okay, and we're gonna do this with git checkout space -b and the name of the branch. Okay, what this command will do is two things. It will create a new branch called rec. The branch is going to be based off of whatever the master branch is at right now, whatever commit the master branch is pointing to right now. Okay, and then it will immediately switch me to that branch. Okay, that's what the -b is for. Okay, so I type enter, and you can see it tells me here switch to a new branch rec, and here the name changed from master to rec. So I now have a branch, a new branch that I'm pointing to called rec, and the changes here, well, the files here are just the MDs that I had before. Okay, so now for me to work on this branch, I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call it new work for now. Okay, so we have a new work.md file. We look at the contents of the directory that I'm in, and we can see the new work.md file. Now, I've made my changes, and I'm going to add this file to the Git repo. Commit with a commit message. Okay? And it tells me one file changed, blah, blah, blah. So let's take a second to see what happened. If we look at Git branch, I am still on the same branch. Okay, committing does not change your branch. If we look at the contents of the directory, we see that the new work is there. Okay? So now, let's say I need to do something else, and I need to see what the master branch is doing. Okay, so this is how you change branches. Git checkout and the name of the branch. Okay, with no -b. Okay, because we're not creating a new branch, we're trying to switch to an existing branch. Okay. When I look at the master branch and I look at the contents, the new work.md is not on the master branch. Okay, that file only exists when I'm looking at the rec branch. Okay, so if I go back to that branch and I look at the contents, the file is right there. Okay, the next thing is when I come here to GitHub and I refresh the page, it tells me there are 4 branches. I look here, and that rec branch is not here. Okay, because I have not pushed that branch to GitHub. So what you need to do to make that happen is once your changes have been committed to that branch, you will do a git push. And you will get this error. It says, the current branch has no upstream branch. This is telling you, hey, you're trying to push this branch, but this branch doesn't exist on github.com. So you need to specify that you want to push this branch, and it doesn't exist yet, so you want to create it. And you will do this with git push space dash u, which is the same as that setup stream, but I don't want to type all that out. Okay? Origin, and then the name of the branch. Make sure that when you give this branch a name for github.com, that you use the same name that you're using locally. Okay? Bad juju will happen if you give it a different name. I've done that before. It's not fun. Alright, so then I say, alright, yeah, push this branch, all my changes to the origin, which is GitHub in this case. Okay, and give it that name. So I can come here, reload this page, and that branch is now here on github.com. Okay, this is how you should all be collaborating for this project. Yes?
That just puts the branch there, that does not actually alert anybody now that you want it to.
That's correct. So that means that there is a new branch, okay? But your changes are still isolated from everybody else. Your changes are not on the master branch. Okay, so if people look at the master branch, they will not see your changes. This just pushes a new branch on GitHub. Remember, GitHub just hosts a copy of your repo, and it has a nicer interface than your terminal to deal with it. Okay? Now, when you have pushed your changes to a new branch, you want to submit them so that other people can see your changes before you merge them to master. For that, we're gonna open what's known as a pull request. Okay? And this is how pull requests work. You can create it from here, but I'm gonna do it the long way. I'm going to click on the 5 branches that I have here. And this is gonna list all the branches. This is the branch that I just updated, and I want to create a pull request. I want to merge these changes to master branch. Okay, but notice I'm not doing it directly. I'm not pushing directly to the master branch. You should really not push directly to the master branch unless you're the only person working in that repository. So I click on new pull request next to the branch that I'm trying to merge. Okay, and you will get this little screen. There is down here, you can see the commits. Okay, the commit messages. This is why you make them useful, so that people can see what you did in each of your commits.
Update.
Okay? Yep, update. That is 90% of the commits that I see. Okay? You can see if I'm reviewing this, I have no idea what happened. I really want to look at 500 lines of code to figure out what this person did. Not really. But it tells me one file changed, okay, and it gives me the summary here, which is fine. And if I had added any actual code, there would be a different tab here, I believe, that would show me that. Anyway, that's all.
And then
So,
you, wait, then you create the pull request, and then some,
I'm
I thought you meant that's all, like, that's all.
So, when you come here and you're opening the pull request, okay, you want to give this, something meaningful, okay? You might have like 5, 10, or 17 commits going into a single pull request. So you want to summarize as much as you can into a single sentence what's going on with this pull request. And in this case, I would say add file, what was the name of that file? New work.md. Okay? This is the summary of my pull request. So the comments for your pull request is different from the comment for your commit, or it can be at least. Okay? You can leave additional comments that are going to live just on GitHub if you want. Like if you're making 17 changes and you want to make a bullet list, you can do that here. I'm not going to, so I'm just going to update that message and create the pull request. Alright? So, now this gives me a summary that says, hey, these are the commits, these are the files that were changed, and in this window, you're able to see the changes, okay? This is known as a diff. And GitHub renders diffs in a particular way. Anything that you added is in green, and everything that was removed is in red. Right? And here is the conversation. Nobody's made a comment, but somebody can come here and say, I think this is an awful pull request. Your code changes suck. Please fix. At least they're nice about it. So you can then either comment if you want to leave the pull request open so that, or you can close and comment. Okay? Let's just leave it as a comment for now. And now here we can see that change. The person that submitted this pull request can look at your comment and feel free to make improvements on it or let you know how they feel about your message. All right. So I'm going to decline the pull request. So I'm just going to say close pull request. So these changes are not going to go to the master branch. If I want to approve those changes to go into the repository, then you would just click here, merge pull request. Okay, this big green button. You will see there's drop down here, squash and merge, and rebase and merge. We're not going to tinker with those. Okay, and if anything, I don't like people who rebase, so you better not be doing that.
We don't even know what rebase is. So
Don't
worry.
And I won't explain it to you.
Okay.
Maybe I should explain. I will explain it to you one day.
Alright. It's hard to know what we're not supposed to do if we don't know what it
requests
is.
do not touch anything else on this drop down for now. Alright? But I don't want that, so I'm just going to close the pull request. Okay? When the pull request is closed, the changes aren't really lost because your branch is still here. Okay, so you can reopen that pull request if you want. The branch is still there. The pull request is just you saying, I want to merge this branch, these code changes, to the master branch. Okay? And the master branch is where all of the work is being combined. Okay? And all of the separate features that you guys are developing, all the work that somebody else has developed on their own, is going into their own branch. And this is just so you can, as best as possible, avoid conflicts and keep any actual conflicts isolated to their specific branches, so that if you commit an error, other people have a chance to look at them via the pull request and say, hey, I think you missed a semicolon here, or this is not how you create an object, or I don't know, something. All right? Any questions?
The master branch is only controlled by one person?
The master branch ideally should never be committed to directly and should be controlled by only one person, but I believe these are settings on GitHub.
Okay.
Yeah. Vaughn, you had an actual question. It's not the branch, about branching. Okay. So then, how do we reverse a commit, right?
That's a good question, yeah.
All right. So let's see. So let's say I go into new organization and I say, all right, so, all right. And let's say I create, I flesh out this file, I add some content to that file, and then when I do get status, it tells me that I modified the new work file, so I'm going to commit those changes. Okay. Now, so when we do get status, my changes have been committed. I just haven't pushed them to GitHub. Okay. I have a way of seeing the commit that I just made with the git log command. Okay. Git log. And here's the commit. There's another reason why you leave nice commit messages so you know when your work happens. Okay, and this is where I added content to newwork.md. Okay? Now, it just so happens that we change our mind and we're gonna set, we're gonna do something else with that newwork.md instead of this. So what we need to do is you need to grab this commit hash here. So just that thing, all of those funny characters after the commit, you're going to copy those. To get out of this, you press lowercase q. Very, very specific. So let me do that again. Git log brings you to this screen. Okay? You want to, if you're not able to get out of this by typing lowercase q because you probably typed a lot of other things, you want to press escape a few times. Oh, then you're screwed. And press lowercase q. Where's my mouse? Mouse, there it is.
That's right.
I can't. So escape, excuse me. Alright, so if that doesn't work, you should be able to press Control C. Okay, and that will just kick you out of that. So Control C or Q are useful keys when you're working with the terminal. Again, get logged to see the commits that you've made, and then you copy this commit. This is the unique identifier for your commits. Okay, each commit that you make has a unique ID. So you grab it, you copy the unique ID for the commit that you want to get rid of, and then you come here and you run the git revert. Okay, and then you paste the ID for the commit that you want to revert. Enter, and this will kick you into this, which some of you have already seen. Okay, and to get out of here, you know that you do colon lowercase wq. Alright? And you save. And if you look at the log, there's a message that says this reverse commits blah blah blah, reverts blah blah blah. Okay? Of course, you might I slacked out 2 links today about how to set your command line editor for Git, right? Did anybody look at those? How to set Sublime as your commit editor so that you don't have to do it with Vim up here?
No, didn't even see it yet.
So I slacked out these links.
What if you pushed your commit? Is it okay?
You can still do it. Yeah, I mean you're just gonna have to push it again. It's still okay. You can still revert.
Okay.
It's just you're gonna have to push the revert. Yeah. All right. So I slacked out these 2 links about how to associate different text editors with Git. So you don't have to know the weird shortcuts with the escape keys and Control C and colon WQ. Okay. And this lets you know how to set Atom or Sublime or Notepad++ as your editor. You cannot do WebStorm. You cannot do Visual Studio, and you cannot do Visual Studio Code easily. It has to be a very basic text editor that you can set as your Git editor. Okay? This way, when you need to edit a commit message, it will kick you into Sublime instead of the terminal, if you prefer that. I don't. Let's see. I slacked out another link, if anybody remembers what it was. Oh, yeah. This was about resolving a merge conflict. Okay, and this, it says via the command line, but it really applies to anything. The key here is that you're going to have these markers, which you guys have already seen with the less than, and then head, and then the equal sign, and then greater than, and some funny messages in between. So make sure you look at this document